And by that I mean the implications to the genetics that in those days you could tell just by looking at the children. We have a situation now with all of our chemicals and our prepackaged foods and our polluted environments where we have done some trade-offs for this feel-good egoism and this meism over us. Rather than us, it's me, me, me. We pay the price. Our children most assuredly pay the most horrendous price of all. You treat sex like it's some little game. It's not a game. It is for procreation. It is to bring new life into the fold. And if we don't follow the natural ways, our children suffer the consequences. And I would suggest to each of you listening tonight that if you can get these 2 books, take a listen to it, or take a read on them. The History of Sex by Ray Tannehill and Women Who Run with Wolves.
Okay, Carl, hold that thought, please. We're taking a short break here, but stay on the line. We'll bring you back up after the break here with Tobias Lars, Truth Brigade Radio. Into Truth Brigade on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. And if you want to spread some loving around, you can join us in the text chat at truthbrigade.com. And any questions or comments, of course, 512-879-3805. I think we have Carl back on the line. Carl, if you would like to finish up, you were mentioning a book, Women Who Run with Wolves.
Yes. I don't know the author.
Okay. We have a few more callers, but if you would, please continue.
Yeah, okay. The History of Sex with Ray Tannehill. That's another good one. See, any time that we put our own feelings above the other person's feelings and the children's feelings, we don't consider what we're doing here because we're bringing new life into the planet. And then we're wanting to jump up and pull pegs up and run to the next door. In doing that, we do a disservice to our children. The timing and the conception timing of the Sex Act is more critical than the birth date, because instilled in each new individual at that point in time is all that they can ever hope to come to be with all the other factors thrown in. It gets to be a long, evolved study if you want to study this in depth. But I'd be happy to talk with anybody that wants to call me anytime on any of these topics if they wish. And I'd like to give my number out if it's okay. It's 580-889-3937. And if you'll just look around you at the different societies and the implications of our destroying the children, we've destroyed their futures, and we give them a bad start to begin with all the hokey pokey about true love and all this other stuff. When you have true love between two people, your genes, every gene in your body's going to let you know that. And then is when you go together and pull for the whole family. And under those conditions, we have perfect children. We don't have any problems with them, and they know they're loved, and they in turn return the love, and then we build that love, and it's real true love. It's not lust love, and it's not this feel good and let's have a good time love, you know. The implications on the female are horrendous, because when a woman gets pregnant, she's actually putting her life on the line to have that child. She has a foreign body in her womb, and it's really tough on her and her whole system. And then, not to mention the after effects after the birth, postpartum depression, and then she goes into this for life. She'll worry about that child until the day she dies, because that's innate in our genetics and in our who and what we are. The male, on the other hand, in most cases, they just want to have a good time, pop their nut, and get on down the road. And how they can do that and deny their children is beyond me. I still have a tough time figuring that out.
Yes, yeah, this is true. This is definitely a problem. We have a couple more callers, though, so Tobias, if you would respond.
Sure. No, Carl is genuine heart. And basically, we're going through a huge transition on the planet right now. And the way we did it for a long time, by the way, there was a time on Earth when we were healed. There was no schism between lust and love. The concept didn't come up. There was no running around. There was no hiding it. And then we went into that. And we're coming out of that now again. And yes, when you actually mix your lust with the love, meaning what I'm talking about is the procreative force lust, okay, which is the natural excitement of sexuality. That is meant to be mixed with love. And when you do that, you do not end up with sexual diseases. You are not promiscuous. You find a natural level. Now, if you don't have that naturally inside yourself, you need strong rules outside yourself, church, government, laws, telling you not to do it. But what we're doing now is coming out of needing outer laws telling us how to do it, and we're going through a chaotic process right now for the last 40 years, and we'll go through it for the next 20 years or longer, of this is we have to decide for ourselves, the freedom to decide for ourselves instead of someone outside us telling us how to do it. And then we will heal this schism, and it's hard for us to imagine, but lust and love will make friends, and they will go together. And I have to tell you, it's the cookie jar phenomena. If you tell the child they cannot have it, they want that cookie. I know, and I'm just using myself and other people as examples here, the more you allow this to be healed inside you, the less promiscuous you are. You know, the less you want to run around, the less you have these internal things pushing on you. And also, we're going to get conscious with our sexuality. The man is damaged when he just has sex and leaves children behind. Often he is just so unconscious about it that he can't feel it, but his soul knows, and his soul is damaged. So he's not just happy skippy down the road. That doesn't occur. Another thing I want to say, women actually have the natural state is for women to have the biggest orgasms they ever have during childbirth. Look it up, orgasmic childbirth. And I know I'm pushing some boundaries, but we need to. So they're not meant to give birth in pain. That's not the natural state at all. And that's becoming more and more prevalent. We're moving from an old way of doing it in the state of emergency. We're going through the chaotic part right now, and we're going to move into an absolute state where we will be no overpopulation. Lust and love will have come back together. It'll be orgasmic births, and that's coming on Earth. It'll be here within the next 150, 200 years.
Well, I like it.
Yeah.
Tobias, we have a couple more callers on the line. Area code, well, actually, we have two from 928 area code. So let's see, 928-828. If that is you, you are live. Hi, caller.
Hello. Go ahead.
I hear you loud and clear. How you doing tonight?
Oh, it's Brighton, and I called from 284, but okay. So is it me that's on the line?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I have dyslexia here. 928-284. Yeah, hey, we're talking about sex, okay? You expect me to be able to see the numbers clearly?
Well, it's been a very, very interesting show. And Tobias, when are you going to let me take you out to coffee? I would love to meet you in person, living in Sedona and such, and being neighbors. Just when I think I'm going to have a question, Tobias, you're right there with it, and I appreciate that. You're a wealth of knowledge that I appreciate listening to. I actually had got a blend of one of Christie's essential oils, and I'm calling in because I have just coming out of LA. I know that the eyes wide shut life is real. I know that energy is very much a truism, and detoxing here in Sedona and having just the beautiful gift that I have every day by living here, I have been shocked at the amount of denial I was in, and even how much I had harmed my base and sex chakra. And the blend that Christie gave me, along with other things, along with, mountain biking, along with taking the time to meditate, working with crystals, opening myself up to that healing energy, the release that I have felt has just been amazing. But it's what's different about working with the oils is I can feel it actually going in and almost like putting a protective shield on the energy that I'm going to release so that it doesn't feel so painful and scary while I'm doing it.
Yeah, and it's also like
wonderful.
It's like osmosis too. Those natural healing oils and natural herbs and things, they have an osmotic effect. It's like they penetrate and actually they have a magic effect of releasing energies. That's why we use them, and that's why, witches, good witches like Christie create them. I'm teasing.
Well, I think that's actually an appropriate word to bring up when you're talking about sex. And I mean, going back to Alexandrian libraries, and I mean, if you want to go deep down that rabbit hole, it's so obvious.
Yes.
But if you don't go down that rabbit hole, it just seems, I think, to a lot of people like goofy talk. Mm-hmm. But past, present, and future exist simultaneously. So, and the blood that runs through everyone communicates, and the alchemy that happens in the universe is so amazing, and love is really, like, if sex isn't right in your life, then, that's the most important thing in the world, is to have your sex chakra balanced.
Yes.
At least in my opinion, because I made a lot of my decisions out of anger, and I wouldn't even have known that they were anger,
right,
because I was so conditioned to that.
We're unconscious
and
of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that the blend helped you, recognize and experience and release some of these things. That just tickles me.
And I also think that because I'm a sensitive in the sense that I do feel past, present, and future, I do work with, being a dimensional person that or human soul, that I had some things that needed to come to rest from past life that dealt in a time when incense and oils and natural healing was the norm.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to call that up, and so I just, it's pretty amazing to kind of put those past things to rest, because it allows me to live in the present much more stable.
We just have a minute before the break. Let me ask you this, Brighton, though. I've sent you 2 different oils. Have you experienced different, say, revelations or experiences with them?
Yes. The first blend is much more I'm using on my face and my neck. The other one I'm using on the lower chakras. It does have the cinnamon, so I'm not using it on my face quite yet, but on my stomach. And I'm doing reverse strokes to reverse any negativity that I just don't need. I'm releasing, so I'm doing it in a reversal motion. And I am having, with one I'm having throat chakra and upper chakra experience, and the other one is lower.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And they work well together, so thank you very much.
That's good news. I did put some, I guess I've talked about it before, but there are certain things, or scents, and my true essence, which is why I named it that, because it helps me get to my essence, my soul, my source as well. And sandalwood, frankincense, and myrrh, those help to stimulate the pineal gland, which also helps me in meditation and being able to release some of these things that you're talking about right now. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but we are going to be doing a show with Tobias, I believe, next week about past lives and soul integration, retrieval and integration.